Hey guys, it's Becky. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, then welcome. I make videos helping you guys to make money online with eBay dropshipping, so subscribe if you want to see more videos about that, and check out my channel to see the videos I've already done. This video is going to be a little bit different because I'm just going to be talking about some ideas, goals, and going through some things that I've changed in my business recently and why. So I mentioned in a video back, I think in February, that one of my goals for this year of 2018 is to have a 10k profit month through my eBay dropshipping store. And I purposely put that goal out on YouTube just for kind of accountability purposes. I have actually had a few people ask me how's that coming along in terms of getting towards it. So I'm glad I did, but I just feel like I need to provide an update. And I haven't done like a profit report or an income report where I went through each of the costs I had. I haven't done one of those recently. I will start doing them again. They're very time consuming to put together, but I will start doing them just so you can get an idea of the business costs individually rather than just the overall number. So I have set the goal to have a 10k profit month in the year of 2018. And most likely I'm expecting that to happen during Q4, which is the Christmas selling period. So it is the beginning of June now, which is scary because we're basically halfway through the year. And I find what's been happening with my store is that I've kind of plateaued at a point where my monthly profit is around £3,000 a month. For those of you in the US or outside, that's about just under $4,000 a month profit from my eBay store. And some people might say, oh, that's good, and some people might say, oh, that's nothing. For me, it's good. It's more than I used to earn working full time. The not issue, but the thing about it is that I know I don't put 110% into my eBay business. It's ticking along, the sales are still coming in, and so I still work on it every single day. Like every single day, I have not had a day off, but I don't work on it as hard or as passionately as I did when I first started because it just ticks along. I have a VA who lists for me. I list too. I'll talk a bit more about her in later on in the video. But yeah, it just kind of ticks along, and I think at this point it's just that it has that momentum that with very minimal effort it's gonna make me about £3,000 a month. And that is fine. Like I said, it's more than I used to make at my full-time job in London, so to me that's good. But not that I'm comparing myself to other people on YouTube, but in comparison to the people who I look up to, who I'm friends with on YouTube, who I socialise with, Mark from DS Genie, Paul from Paul J Lipsky, I think his channel is now, they obviously making a lot more than I am, which, not to say that's a bad thing. I like the fact that I'm kind of the bottom of the bunch, because it's much better to be the bottom of the bunch than to be like the smartest person in the room or the most successful person in the room, so to speak. So I like having them as kind of a benchmark so I know what I can aspire to. Also though, the reason why my channel is called Broke to Boss Girl is because I wanted to document this part of the journey with you guys, because everybody else on YouTube is kind of making $10, $20, $30,000 a month as normal. So I do appreciate that I get to share this part with you guys, where I'm like, I'm making a full-time living. I'm making more than I was making at my 40-hour-a-week job, but I'm not making what most of the YouTube eBay dropshippers are making. I know I'm making more than most eBay dropshippers, because most people just do this kind of part-time. But yeah, so I think it's interesting just to share this part with you guys and let you guys know how I'm getting on. I'm happy with it for the moment, but I know I could be doing better, and that's what this video is about. So at the moment, I probably spend, or have been spending for the last few months, maybe 2 hours a day on my eBay business, sometimes less. So yeah, to me, when I look at it, I used to do 8 hours a day at a job for less money than this, and now I'm doing 2 hours a day, sometimes 3 hours a day for more money than that. So that's how I've been justifying it in my head. but that's no excuse because I have a lot more hours in the day that I could be putting into this business to reach my personal goals. So what I want to talk through is some of the things that I'm implementing now that will allow me to scale the business up. And it's not necessarily that I'm just going to work more hours to make more money. I'm changing my processes so that my business can scale up and not necessarily be a time for money exchange. Trying to think of ways that I can get the business to grow, or just go through a kind of a growth spurt and then maintain it with the less hours once it gets to that level. Hopefully that will make sense. So these are the things that I'm doing with my business now, that I have been doing in order to achieve my goals. So the first thing I have done is really change the way I think about my business and stop thinking about it as a small business and start treating it as if it is already a large business. Treating it like it's a business that does make 10k a month. And the way I was running my business before, I was micromanaging a lot of things that I just didn't need to be anymore. I think I needed to be in the beginning. So easy example of that is some of you guys will have seen a video I did where I showed how I track my profits, and in that video I said at the end of every day I know exactly how much money I've made on eBay, because I was going in, I was putting in all of my sales for the day, how much it had cost me, and I had my spreadsheet. I'll link that video for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about if you haven't seen it. And that was good in the beginning because obviously you want to make sure that you're making money, you want to make sure that you're doing this right before you scale up. But my business is at the point where that doesn't make sense anymore. And so I've changed the way that that works, and this ties into my VA. When I was coming up with ways to get her able to process the orders in the easiest way, I came up with a kind of a spreadsheet formula. In eBay, you can download your orders from eBay in the file exchange area, so I could just download them and then give her the orders. I set up a spreadsheet where I dump the orders in. The format is already there, I just copy and paste, and then my VA can go in and all she has to do, she can see the order, she can see the customer name and the address. She needs to type in the cost of the item when she goes to place the order, and I have a column in there that is green if it's okay to place the order based on the pricing, and if she types in the price of the order at Kmart, for example, as she types it into the box does a calculation that works out whether it is a profitable sale or not. And if it is, the formula I have in there basically says if this is going to make more than $1 loss, turn red. If it makes a profit or a little bit of a loss, less than $1, stay green. So it's just this box that she sees, and when she types in the price, the box is either green or red, and she knows whether she should place the order or not. But yeah, that's just one example of something I thought of thinking ahead. How are we going to place orders? What if the order isn't profitable? And if those of you who are running the business, you know, sometimes the price changes or something's changed, there's software glitches where it wouldn't be profitable, and obviously I wouldn't want her placing the orders. Outside of that, I'm not tracking individually before each order is placed how profitable it is. The other example is just having a VA. That is something that took me a while to decide to do. I was very nervous to hire a VA. I kind of thought that no one could do it as well as I could do it in terms of listing and titles, and I was wrong. My VA is very good at title optimization and attention to detail and stuff like that. So I'm glad I have her now. I am moving her along, as I said, from just listing to processing orders, and I want to have her on customer service, answering questions, because that is definitely the part of the business at this point that I feel like I'm wasting my time on and my energy on more so, because it just ruins my day. But I honestly would like to focus a bit more on listing than I am on customer service, just because I think that's where I have the biggest impact. So yeah, that's the structure of it at the moment. I only have one VA, but I plan to increase that definitely. The next thing that I'm doing is using my listing / tracking software, which is Hustle Got Real. I talk about it all the time. The link is always in the description of my videos. It's a lister, so you use it to list the items. It pulls the description and the images, and you just change the title and put in the details. And it also tracks the item, so if it goes out of stock on your supplier website, it pulls it out of stock from your eBay store, in case any you didn't know. What I like about Hustle Got Real is that it actually makes it really easy for you to macro manage your listings. So when you get to the point where I'm at, where I have thousands of listings, you obviously don't want to go through one by one and select which one should I delete, which one should I keep. So the best and simplest feature of it that I use is the out of stock for a certain amount of days feature. So you set the amount of days. If it's been, you could say if it's been out of stock for 30 consecutive days, just delete the listing. You can do it for 60, 90, however many you want. I believe mine is, I think 30 at the moment. I had it at more, but I lessened it just because I just don't want dead listings sitting there. If it's not come back in stock within a month, I mean, it might come back in stock, but we'll move on and kind of just cut our losses. This is what I mean about macro managing. Yes, you're not going to get everything, but for the most part, that should be fine. The other thing I like to do with it is you can use the filters on it. I love the filters to check items which haven't sold, items which are older than a certain amount, which have no sales, items which are more than 30 days old that have no watchers. Anything you want to see, you can use the software to see, and it just pulls all of those listings for you. Then again, if you're comfortable with Excel, you can just copy all the I was going to call them what we used to call them when I worked in retail, item IDs. You can copy all of those, and then one thing I've been doing is anything that's slow, by whatever I put that definition as, copy all those item IDs and use that in a spreadsheet to create a eBay promoted listings campaign. So rather than just randomly selecting categories or selecting everything, just put my slow listings into a promoted campaign, because that's just a more effective use of promoted listings in my opinion. The last thing I want to talk about in this video is probably the most important thing that I'm doing right now for my eBay business, and this is probably going to be a temporary thing, and as I say, I just want to encourage a growth spurt in my business at this point. But for the month of June, I am listing 100 items a day in my eBay store. So some of you will think that that is crazy, because I do optimize each of them. I don't bulk post them. I choosing and listing with the software and changing the title of 100 items every single day into my eBay store. So yeah, that's not a huge amount of work for me. I can do roughly say 30 in an hour of really focused work. So I'm looking at 2 to 3 hours of work, about 3.5 hours of listing every day, and that's not it's not really sustainable for me. It's not the best use of my time every day, but for this month, that's what I'm going to do in order to get my business to the next level. I did obviously have the option to hire another VA to do it, but I do still see that the quality of my listings is slightly better. Hustle Got Real as well has a really interesting feature where it's like a leaderboard where you can see between whose listings are the most effective kind of thing, and I find mine are slightly higher, so I do still like to list. I think listing 100 items a day was the one thing that I could do that I knew would make the biggest difference in the business. So in combination with all the things that I normally talk about, all the things I've been doing, my markups, my optimization, the types of items I'm selecting, that's all the same. The one thing that I'm changing is listing 100 items every single day. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. I will do an update with you probably the same time next month to let you guys know how it's going, and start doing more kind of profit updates with you guys so you can see the growth of the business over time. I think it's come such a long way. I just passed a year of eBay dropshipping, so yeah, I've been able to, within 6 months I was full-time on eBay, and within a year I'm making more than I was working full-time in London. So I hope you found this helpful. Like if it's the kind of video that you do like, and subscribe to see more videos about eBay dropshipping, and I'll see you in the next one.